Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Hey, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sacred Space Sunday, May 1st edition.
The May 1st edition. This is May Day. I was walking and thinking the other day, the adage goes April showers and May flowers, but I think with climate change that's kind of backed up a month. And I feel like the March showers brought April flowers, and who knows what May is going to bring.
Right.
Well, good morning, family. My name is Minister Niyah Jewel, and I am the founder and spiritual director of the Niyah Center. And right here we have Mark Christmas, Reiki Master, Director of Holistic Wellness, Niyah Center. And this is Sacred Space Sunday, brought to you by Niyah Center, which is an interfaith empowerment community. And our mission is to engage, educate, and empower one another through interreligious engagement, holistic wellness, and integrated life and social impact programming. And Sacred Space Sunday is our space. It is our shared space for spiritual growth and learning. And we draw from insights of sages from the past and present, inspired texts, ancient wisdom teachings, and ethical principles that light the path to individual and collective insight, application, and spiritual enlightenment. So welcome and good morning. And good morning, Cheryl DC Joy. Good morning, Latanya. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes. Good to see you all.
I'm just going to share this video over here to our Allverse group. Facebook has changed the way it does things. And so. Okay, great. If we don't share it, they don't let us share directly. So great, family. What's going on? What's new? Mr. Man, top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you, Mr. Man. What's good in the hood, as they say. We know there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's crazy, but what's good in the hood?
Well, who's they? Who's they say?
They, them. The peoples. Or as they say now, the culture. The culture wants to know what's good in the hood, people. Put something good in the chat. What got you up this morning? What's going to make you smile? What joy are you looking forward to this week? What joy are you looking forward to this week, Mark?
Well, we're winding down the school year. This is the last, 2.5 weeks for school for the seniors. Their last day is going to be the May 19th. So, 2.5 weeks of that. We're off tomorrow as a mental health and wellness day, so I'm excited about that.
Well, hold on. Let's pause on that. First of all, hooray that you are in a space that recognizes Mental Wellness and Health Day, Mental Health and Wellness Day. In the corporate world, they were like, oh, y'all want some Mental Health and Wellness Day? We're going to call that PTO, paid time off. That means you get days, and how you spend your personal time off is up to you. Mental health, sick, kids need you. You got to go to awake, whatever. That's your personal time off. If you want to mental health it, then so be it. But, what would be the beauty of, okay, let's have some paid time off, but let's have some collective mental health and well-being time off. I love that. That's definitely something to make you smile. Hey, gardening. Okay, Cheryl DC Joy, you going to do some gardening? Okay.
Yeah. Latanya is food prepping.
There's some mental and physical health and well-being right there.
I like good prepping. I like that better than food prepping. Hey, Auntie, hope you're feeling better. My mom told me that you were a little bit under the weather, so hopefully you're feeling better.
Well, we are sending you love and ease, knowing that ease and wellness is the truth of your being, Auntie. And so your entire Sacred Space family is sending you healing and love energy right now. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about love energy and the power to send love energy today. So I am already feeling the love energy. Yeah, food prepping. Like that's awesome. We kind of food prep over here, Mark.
We eat it all.
That's the problem, right? We like Mark will make like 2 or 3 good meals, and then it's smelling so good, we'll have like a little bit of each of the food prep. And then the food prep probably lasts us maybe like 2 more days, but we don't have the little containers with the right portioned out. We never were able to quite manage the specific science of food prepping. So congratulations to you, LaTanya. Auntie says, I'm much better now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got some preventative, proactive love healing energy. So you are good, you're gonna stay good.
Yeah. I love that. So what's been going on in current events lately?
It seems like more the same. The big talk now, is Elon Musk and him taking over Twitter, and then immediately jumping in with the conservative comments. I've seen memes with some racist comments. I don't know if he actually posted that or people are just in anticipation of what's behind it. I heard about people like now that they're getting to see what is politics and philosophy.
Is he allegedly racist?
Huh?
Is Elon Musk allegedly racist?
Well, I did see again, social media is always a question mark because I didn't see this on Twitter. I saw this on Facebook of somebody taking a picture of a Twitter post with some racist comments and assigned to his name. But, I'm not going to say that that is factually so because I did not see the Twitter post on Twitter. And so I don't know that that's right. But I do know that he, is conservative.
Sound like Nee-yah.
Right. And there's been much talk in not only the Twitter sphere, but also just media in general.
What does Black Twitter say about it?
Black Twitter is the one who was playing with the racist posts. So again, I am not saying that is factually so, but it is a big question mark in terms of media control and who controls the media, and then what voices get on the media. And it's something that we should just all continue to pay attention to, given that so much time is spent in many forms of media, whether that's social media, whether that's cable news media, whether that's your local news media, wherever you're getting your media and news sources from. You want to pay attention to not only the news that is being shared, but who owns, the network. What are their philosophies? Because they are ultimately the ones that get to control what the programming is. And there was a time, and certainly if you're older, you may think, oh, well, they've got to be unbiased and objective in news, because there was a time when news had to show both sides, when news on television had to have, verified sources, more like, traditional journalism of, you've got to have 2 to 3 verified sources, objective, neutral commentary. But actually, there were laws that support that, and those laws went away. So this is why we have this polarized media, because no one has to give the other side. They can be opinion based and call themselves news. So we really got to be careful. Wow. But I hear people are going to start boycotting Teslas. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I've never ridden in a Tesla, but I heard they're really nice. Mm-hmm.
I've never ridden in one either. They do look nice. So yeah. All things to be considered. We've still got the geopolitics going on and the war in Ukraine and all of that. And my personal politics, I found it interesting. We continue to pour more money into the Ukraine, and at the same time, Biden says, "Well, maybe we'll give this student loan debt." But not $50,000. Oh no, we can't do that. We don't got any money for that. Maybe $10,000. Maybe $10,000. Oh, but they can send billions to the Ukraine. But there's no money to forgive student loan debt that would free up and absolutely change the experience of so many Americans in this country if they did not have to pay for their education.
Yeah,
Like it's so in many other countries around the world, like Europe, which we are bailing out. A lot of them have free school through college.
yeah, what they call it, the socialists. But that's another topic for
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Tesla's more than a car company. His owners buy Twitter. They are a multinational conglomerate. But I specifically meant that people were planning. What I read about was them boycotting purchases of the car.
Yeah. I know I've got some buddies who own Teslas or who want Teslas. They said they're nice. So.
Well, I don't think they're gonna turn them in though. I think they're probably gonna hold on to them. Shoot. And again, you got to forgive me, folks. I've been all into political economy, political theory in recent days. So all of that is top of mind. But turning your car in, then you're underwater, you owe more than you paid on it. You can't get rid of it if you want to.
Hey, so speaking of, so if you're watching us on Twitch, thank you. If you haven't switched to Twitch, go ahead and switch over to Twitch, so you can share it to your TV or any other medium outside of just your phone. I guess you could probably do some of that with your Facebook as well and YouTube. But please reshare, let others know where they can find us and they can tune in or watch it along as well. We appreciate that. We want to welcome any birthdays for the month of May. Any May birthdays. Please feel free to put the names in the chat and let us know. We'll send a shout out to you for your birthday. Also, if you are on Facebook, you can follow us and subscribe to us at Allverse on the Join the Allverse Facebook Allverse group, right? Which is a place where you can stay connected, throughout the week with daily inspirational posts and things curated by what is her name now on Facebook? I know she's changed.
Is it Angela Davis? I don't know, but Angela Davis, but some formulation of that name variety on
right.
Facebook. She got hacked and had to change her name. So
yeah. So that social media hacking is real. Now you got hacked too, don't you?
I did, and so let me just give this PSA out there. I don't think that maybe in the past you had to close your account or whatever, but they have a very specific process to help you if your account gets hacked on Facebook. Just go into the search engine and put account hacked or whatever. And they have a step-by-step process that allows you to really check your account, check which posts have been put up, whether or not you put those posts up, and to get you a new password and get you back on track.
Right.
So I think they probably have come a long way in supporting people so that you don't feel like you don't have any recourse, so you got to come and create some new account.
All right. Well, Mr. Mann said he must be talking about Tesla. Some Americans are treated unfairly. And then DC Joy says most can't afford it. How does that work? I don't know how much a Tesla costs. That's a good question.
Not cheap.
I wouldn't think they were, but I'm still saying. But no cars are cheap now. So Ford is not cheap.
No, but I did see, what was it? Kia said 100,000 mile, 10-year warranty.
Yeah, on a Telluride, I think a Telluride.
That's real deal right there. Now it didn't say specifically what the warranty covered, but if it's that typical, full coverage, $100,000 miles and 10 years, then they basically you bought a car, we got you. Now that's a game changer right there.
Yeah, one of their plants was referred to as the plantation. Oh no,
see, it's coming in. It's coming in. The truth.
Yeah, Mr. Mann, I did not see the verses of Mary, Mary, and BB and the Winans, BB and CC. Was it good?
Yeah, give us some feedback. We missed it. It was much anticipated, and I do plan to watch the reruns. They make it a little bit harder now. But did you see it? Did anyone see it? Tell us. What did you think? It looked like it was a lot of fun.
I gotta figure. I don't know. The Winans got so much music. The Winans. Right. I'm thinking that they probably won that one.
Right. I mean, Mary, they got a lot of albums, but I mean, it's BB and CC.
They can both sing. They both sang well. So.
And they got so much personality.
Yeah. We saw the, what was it? It was like the gospel. Where are they now? What's that? What's the thing? Show
Unsung, I think it was.
Yeah, with BB, right? BB Winans was talking. Yeah. So yeah.
Told their story.
They got an interesting story. So
very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
Very shout out to my man Dan. I think he was manager. I forget their real names, but one of the singers from the Niyah Center. So what else in terms of announcements? We talked about the war still going on. He said it was good. It was good. Kev on the stage hosted it. Okay. It was wonderful and hilarious. All right.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's the best combo.
Your musical insight, Mr. Man.
We definitely trust. We trust. I mean, this is an expert, review right here. You could put it in the bank. If this is Mr. Man's description of it, then that's what it was. Period. This is an expert right here. So thank you. We appreciate it.
I don't know who Kev on stage is.
I have to we'll put that on our things to do to watch the rerun of it.
Right. Let's see what else. So if you want to be on the show live and video, you can contact us at Niyah Center at Gmail, which is scrolling across the bottom. That's how you. Or if you're interested in Reiki services or counseling, life coaching with Nee-yah, you can contact us at the Niyah Center at Gmail as well. We can talk more about those services, how they work, what results people have gotten, and so forth. Right? We look forward to your reach outs.
Just on that point before you move on, and today is a good day. Like I said, we're going to talk about the transcending power of love, and we are going to draw on multiple traditions today. We're going to try some practices from different traditions today. We're really going to get into this transcending power of love. And so if somebody has something that they want to add or bring to this, certainly text us, email us. Let us know if you want to come on and give a live testimony. We certainly welcome it, but please be active in the chat, either way of letting us know your own experiences with love as we go through our time today.
Yeah. Speaking of love donations. Help us expand the vision. You can donate Zelle and Niyah Center via Gmail or Cash App. $ Niyah Center, either of those places to support the vision of the Niyah Center, support us in our growth and expansion.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else before we move into our affirmation for today?
No, I think we're ready.
Okay. So, yeah, I think I will. So today's affirmation, it's got a lot in it because we are doing a lot today. So I am going to read it to yourself and say it out loud to yourself after me as I pause. I am one with the power that created me. That power is love. I am love. I love myself. I am boundless compassion, infinite empathy, friendship, passion, and nurturing care. The transcendent power of love guides my thoughts, words, and actions. I am one with the power that created me. That power is love. I am love. I love myself. I am boundless compassion, infinite empathy, friendship, passion, and nurturing care. The transcendent power of love guides my thoughts, words, and actions. And so that is our commitment for today. That is the intention that we set for this space. That is who we are. That is how we do. That is the power that undergirds all that we do and allows us to be the creative, abundant beings that we are. And so now I want us to go ahead and move into our posture of presence as we get ready to embark on our opening meditation, which today we're going to do a little bit differently. We are going to engage in a metta loving kindness practice. And so if you have not ever done a metta practice before, then the original name of this comes from the Pali language. It is a Buddhist practice. It is called Metta Bhavana, is the original name of the practice, Metta Bhavana. Metta means love, not in a romantic sense, more in a friendliness, a kindness. And so that's why it's a lot of times it's called over here in what they call the West, loving kindness prayer. We're going to talk a lot more about this meaning of love and love as non-romantic, but as friendliness and kindness later. But for now, that'll suffice, right? So even if that's not clear to you, it's okay. Just hold whatever it means to you. Loving kindness, in short, it's just an emotion that you feel in your heart. We're going to develop and cultivate through this practice the emotion of loving kindness in our hearts. And so in this practice, I'm going to ask you to first find your breath. Find your posture of presence. Relaxing the shoulders. Releasing the tension in the hands and the fingers. Letting the legs fall firmly to the ground that is beneath us. Connecting. Letting go of all that has gone before, with no attachment to what is to come in the future. Resting in the gift of now, the presence. And so the way this will work is that you will continue to repeat after me silently to yourself. So this is a repeating silently to yourself. And I'm going to take you through this metta loving kindness practice, a Buddhist prayer that will tie us to the rest of today. Repeating exactly the words that I say to yourself. May I be happy. May I live with a sense of ease. May I be free from suffering. May I be peaceful and content. May you be happy. May you live with a sense of ease. May you be free from suffering. May you be peaceful and content. May all beings be happy. May all beings live with a sense of ease. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be peaceful and content. This is our prayer. This is our declaration. This is our truth. Amen. And so it is. You're on mute, Mark.
You had to read my lips.
I wasn't.
I
What did you say?
said powerful. I feel the tingling in my hands. The energy from it. Metta means what again?
Love, loving kindness, love. And we're going to talk about what we mean by love. So it means love, loving friendliness, loving kindness. We're going
And
to
the
talk.
Buddhist phrase is metta burna.
So most often, I hear people now just referring to it as a metta practice or a loving kindness practice. They're used interchangeably, but the original was metta bhavana. I'll put it in the chat from the Pali language.
Okay.
So I think you have a reading for today, and so let us know in the chat how that metta practice was for you.
Yeah. So my reading comes from the New Revised Standard Version, NRSV, St. John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, and then verses 12 through 14. And the word reads as, a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, give me a drink. His disciples had gone to the city to buy food. Verse 12, are you greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us the well, and with his sons and his flocks drank from it? Jesus said to her, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But those who drink of the water that I will give them will never be thirsty. The water that I will give will become in them a spring of water, gushing up to eternal life. That's the reading.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now we're going to move into our talk today, which is the transcending power of love. The transcending power of love. Oh, let's put this a little different. There we go. And I am going to read for you, and Mark, maybe you can put the banner up in the chat for me from the section God is Love in 1 John 4, verses 7 through 8 and 12, 14 in the NRSV. So 1 John 4, NRSV, 7 through 8 and 12, 14. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is from God. Everyone who is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. Beloved, since God loved us so much, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. By this we know that we abide in God and God in us, because God has given us its Spirit. James Baldwin says, if love will not swing the gates, no other power will. So what is this love being discussed? What love is this? What love is this? Is this the love that I have for my husband? Is this the love that I have for king and queen? Is this the love that I have for my sacred space family? Is it the love that I have for going to the beach on a sunny 75-degree, low humidity day with just a light breeze, no rain? When the Bible is saying love one another because love is from God, which love? The love for one another, is that the same as the love from God? Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. God is love. It's repeated in this same chapter. God loved us so much, we ought to love one another. If we love one another, God lives in us. So this repetition around God in love and God loving us and us loving one another. What is being communicated to us, right? We know it's something about love, right? Tina said, what's love got to do with it? Like, what are we talking about here with love? Well, let's try to figure it out together. So the Greeks distinguished 7 different types of love. They had 7 different names for love. This notion of romantic love is said to be a much more modern construction. However, the Greeks did have a word for what we call romantic love, passionate love from one to another. This first more erotic love is eros, E-R-O-S, eros. And it's named after the Greek god of fertility. Eros is passion, lust, pleasure. The Greeks actually considered it dangerous and frightening because it involved loss of control, primal urges, had an intensity to it. It was related to sexual feelings. Eros, romantic, passionate love. So that's one kind of love. Another love is philia, 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 Philia. Now, this is affectionate, friendly love. This is friendship. This is shared goodwill. Again, the Greek philosopher Plato felt that physical attraction was not a necessary part of love. Philia, philia. That attraction was not a necessary part of love, hence the use of the word platonic. Get it? Plato said that love did not need to have attraction part of it, platonic. So love without physical attraction, that's this philia love. Then there's this storge, spelled like storge, Storge, storge. This is familial love. This is that natural form of affection experienced between family members, love for family members. So this is more than this affectionate, friendly love of philia, but it's not that romantic, passionate love of eros. This is more protective, kinship-based. The love that's common between parents and children for their parents. Storge can also describe allegiances, though, to groups or organizations and institutions. I love my FAMU. My family. Love them, right? And then another kind of love is ludus. And I may be mispronouncing this. I've not studied Greek as a language. Ludus, ludus. And the ancient Greeks thought of ludus as a playful form of love, describing more like a crush and acting on it, affection between young lovers. So it's kind of like that flirtatious love is playful. So in a more contemporary sense, we wouldn't even really call that love, right? That's just flirting, playing. So let us. And then there's another kind of love. Remember I said 7. They had 7 different names to distinguish the different types of love. Now this one I'm going to put in the chat for you because if I say it out, you might miss it. Let's see if we can get it copied and pasted in the chat. There you go. Philotia. The Greeks understood that in order to care for others, we must first care for ourselves. So a long time ago, they were saying, put your oxygen mask on first. Aristotle said, all friendly feelings for others are an extension of one's feelings for themselves. All friendly feelings for others are an extension of one's feelings for themselves. And that is deep in itself, right? We could spend a whole time just unpacking that. But philotia is self-love, love for self. The next one is pragma, Pragma, Pragma. And so this is a love that's built on commitment, understanding, long-term best interests. It's a love that's aged, matured. You know, people who have just been in relationship for a long time, where just the security, the stableness, the maturity, the commitment, the understanding of that relationship, like just defies words. There's a solidity to it. There's a standing, right? A relationship that's made compromises over time so that the relationship will continue to work, that is shown patience. You may go, you know, this is the pragma love between friends that go years without talking just because life has been lifing, and then re-engage with one another, and it's like a second hasn't been missed. There's a patience, a tolerant, a commitment, and understanding, enduring love, pragma. And then lastly, there's agape. A-G-A-P-E, agape. Now, this is selfless, universal love. It's a selfless, universal love for human life, for all life, but starting with human life. And that includes strangers, those we would call enemies. It's a selfless, universal love for all creation, all beings, nature, God. This love is unconditional. It's bigger than our individual selves. It's boundless compassion and infinite empathy. A boundless compassion and infinite empathy that we extend to everyone and everything, whether they are family members, whether they are friends, whether they are distant strangers. Agape. Agape love is what is being discussed in 1 John 4. Beloved, let us love one another because love is from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love. By this we abide in God and God abides in us. Agape love, boundless compassion, infinite empathy. This is the transcending love that is the basis of our existence, our natural way of seeing, of knowing, and engaging all life. In the Bible, New Revised Standard Version, I think I've got the citation for us to share, Matthew 6, 43 through 46. Matthew 6, 43 through 46. Jesus, in his Sermon of the Mount, calls us to love our enemies. He's calling out that specificity of the agape love. 43 says, you have heard that it was said. See, Jesus is talking about that they we were talking about earlier. Who's that? You have heard that it was said. Right. From who? From them. Who's them? They, the people, the culture, the Twitter sphere. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. No, he's actually referring back to the commandments in the Hebrew Bible. So the prophets that came before him. Jesus was referring to the prophets that came before him. That's the they, the them. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So you may have heard us talking about here on Sacred Space Sunday, when something happens and somebody is doing something that you don't really like, or they have just got on your last nerve, or they have really done something evil, objectively evil. And we say, what, Mark? That's a prayer request. Well, this is where that comes from. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. So you may reflect God. That's what that's saying. So that you may reflect God. So that you may be children of your Father in heaven. That is the awareness that we are all divine manifestations of the one, and in that one with the Creator. And as manifestations, that's the children. The Father is the one, the Creator, right? So that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For God makes the sun rise on the evil and on the good. Okay, I'm gonna have to read that again, right? God makes the sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. So what is Jesus trying to say? Love your enemies, pray for those that persecute you, because this is your divine nature, because you come from the one who makes the sun rise, which is like omnipotence at work, all powerful to make the sun rise, right? That's like a big deal. But the sunrise on the evil and the good, not making a distinction, because both the evil and the good are also all children of the Father, all divine manifestations of the one. God sends rain to the righteous and the unrighteous, not distinguishing God nature, distinguishing actions, but not distinguishing God nature. The meta prayer that we just did, right? That's what that is doing. The meta prayer was calling us to send loving kindness to all beings. So first to self, in that self-love, then to you, in that friendship love, but then as agape, that universal love, that infinite empathy to all beings. Not getting into individual actions. That's what the meta prayer was doing. That's the energy that you felt. That's the tingling. That's the transcending power of agape love, meta love. The Indian Jain tradition calls the principle of doing no harm ahimsa. Gandhi embraced ahimsa as his own spiritual and ethical life philosophy that guided all of his actions. He was a vegan. We all know he became famous for his nonviolence movement to liberate India from British rule. It came from the spiritual philosophy of doing no harm, ahimsa, which Gandhi called love. He called ahimsa love. It is this agape love that he was speaking of. And the agape love that was the force, the transcending power that activated that nonviolent movement. Let's hear from another source. So this next reading, and I think I have the citation to share, is from Martin Luther King. And this is a section of one article that he wrote in Christian Century, February 6, 1957. And so this is just an excerpt from that article in a section he calls The Meaning of Love. So this is Martin Luther King speaking to an audience in the heyday of all the work that he was doing around nonviolence and transforming a society on the meaning of love. King says, in speaking of love at this point, we are not referring to some sentimental emotion. It would be nonsense to urge men to love their oppressors in an affectionate sense. Love in this connection means understanding goodwill. There are three words for love in the Greek New Testament. First, there is eros. In Platonic philosophy, eros meant the yearning of the soul for the realm of the divine. It has come now to mean a sort of aesthetic or romantic love. Second, there is philia. It meant intimate affectionateness between friends. Philia denotes a sort of reciprocal love. The person loves because he is loved. When we speak of loving those who oppose us, we refer to neither eros nor philia. We speak of a love which is expressed in the Greek word agape. Agape means nothing sentimental or basically affectionate. It means understanding, redeeming goodwill for all men and women. An overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. That's the unconditional piece. It is the love of God working in the lives of humans. When we love on the agape level, we love all humans, not because we like them, not because their attitudes and ways appeal to us, but because God loves them. Okay, I'm going to have to read that one again. This is King, reflecting everything we've just discussed. When we love on the agape level, we love humans not because we like them, not because their attitudes and ways appeal to us, but because God loves them. The universal power loves them. The source and creator of all loves them. Here we rise to the position of loving the person who does the evil deed while hating the deed he does. So this is that distinction. This is why God makes the sun rise on the evil and the good, sending rain to the righteous and unrighteous, because God loves them, because God created us all and can love the evildoer and hate the deed. This is the call of agape. So, what do we take from all this wisdom teaching? If our faith is in God, the universal source, if we understand that we are one with the power that created us, then the sacred ethic of love is a central teaching. Universal love, agape love, meta love, ahimsa, is our freedom papers, our not so secret power. We embody God's properties, but sometimes we forget. We separate from our source. We make choices inconsistent with our true nature that of being love, because love is God and God is love, agape love. But God does not forget its creations and calls us to that high standard of agape, to see what God sees, to do as God does. Always recognizing the God source in everyone and everything. And still knowing evil is evil and good is good. This very act is the transcending power of love. So go with me for a moment. Let's imagine waking up, starting with the meta prayer, and with the loving friendliness, loving kindness, the boundless compassion and infinite empathy of the loving kindness meta prayer, we move through our day in conscious awareness of an intention of being meta, of being agape, of being love. And we direct this agape meta love to our family members. If we're driving, to our fellow drivers on the road, if we're commuting, those on the train or the bus, to all the service people we may encounter at the Starbucks, at the store, to our employees, to our bosses, to our coworkers, to our pets, to our neighbors, to any wildlife that we might encounter, to nature, to everyone and everything. Extending the transcending power of love. Clear on what it is and what it isn't. We talk a lot on Sacred Space Sunday about judgment-free engagement and interactions. This is it. This is what it looks like. Agape carries with it trust, faith, humility, forgiveness. Oh, yeah, there must be forgiveness of self and others to create space for that boundless compassion and infinite empathy. So, critical feature of agape is forgiveness. Also, ease, unity, inclusion, equity, justice, oneness, joy. This is why love is part of our triad philosophy here at the Niyah Center. Oneness, love, joy. The triad, inseparable, parts of a whole. Agape is the transcendent, omnipotent force of God within you, within me, within we. This is our call. This is our spiritual practice. Namaste. So, Mark, I thank you. I see that you had put up the insight plus application equals results. And so I want to bring that back up. So, this week's IAR, we'll just put that up so people know what we are doing. There we go. Thank you. Is to practice the meta practice daily. So that could be first thing when you wake up in the morning, or the last thing as your prayers when you go to bed at night. And so take a picture of the screen. We will make it full screen for a second. And so if you got your phones, take a picture of the screen and you will just go through the meta practice. May I, then may you, then may all. And as you move into your meta practice, you want to start with getting centered, of connecting with your breath. You may start with doing another set of prayers. If you have another prayer practice, do that first, because what you want to do is steep yourself in an energy of unconditional love. You want to bring an energy of unconditional love. And if in the moment you're not feeling the unconditional love, you're feeling the opposite of unconditional love, then that's okay too. And that's a prime time to do the meta practice, to reconnect you to your true nature. So if something's going down and your energy and cortisol is going crazy, stop. And remember, may I be happy. May I live with a sense of ease. May I be free of suffering. May I be peaceful and content. And the same for you, and the same for all. But don't shorten it like that. Go through it and say it all. There's power in the words. So that is our application for the next 2 weeks. And I will offer that you try it for 30 days. Mark, as I was putting this talk together and thinking about it, and in particular, just the concept of agape and its relation in other traditions going by different names, and in particular this meta practice, I believe there are similar practices in the Reiki philosophy.
Yeah, we have the 5 principles of Reiki: gratitude, joy, kindness, patience, integrity. And there's a Reiki prayer that says, I am grateful, I am joyful, I am kind to every living thing, I am doing my best, which lines up with that, right?
Right.
The purpose is to reinforce those principles in your life to support your healing and sustaining it.
Yeah. You may have put these some of these comments up earlier, but I want to put them up now just so we have an opportunity, so I can have an opportunity to read them and speak to them.
Well, I didn't put those up.
Okay, great. Latanya, thank you for sharing this. You say, I really like the notion that when people do or say things that persecute others, that it's really a prayer request. Just as when I behave unlovingly, it is indeed a prayer request. Yeah, yeah. You know, I came across that some years ago, and that's why I say agape love is our freedom papers, because it just creates some space. When you let go of that judgment, space gets created, right? And so converting my anger, judgment, frustration, whatever emotional words I might be feeling or I would want to attach to it, and substituting that for compassion and empathy, because that's what a prayer request is really doing. It's around compassion and empathy and knowing something higher than the circumstances to be at play, to be real, be true, something higher than the circumstances. That's all that's happening with the prayer request, is knowing that there's something higher, something invisible and unseen and unknown right now that is active and real, and connecting to it and allowing for it and calling it into that space. That is releasing. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. So critical. And like you said, if we do it for others, it makes space for someone to do it for us.
Yeah. It's reciprocal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yes, the self-love, to see yourself in your vision, and then extending that love that you give to yourself to others around the world. So there have been periods where I have actively engaged in the meta practice, and done it consistently on a nightly basis. And let me say this about the meta practice: this is one version, right? It is not a set of, it is these words that must be said in this order, in this way. This gives you, if you're new to it, an introduction to meta practice. If you do more research on it, there's lots of books you can get. There's many formulations. There are the original meta practices as suggested by the Buddha, Thich Nhat Hanh, other meta practices out there. And so when I would do my meta practice, because this area, it's may I, may you, can be so much more specific. You can say, may my family members be happy. May they live with ease. And it will call forth, will those I consider my enemies be happy and live with ease. So I would do it sometimes where I would just do this expansion bubble of the world, right? Where I would start with may I, and then I would say we live in an apartment building complex. Everyone in my apartment building complex, everyone in my county, in my state, in my country, in my continent, in my hemisphere, in my world, in this globe, in this universe, and just continue to expand, expand, expand. So there's many different ways that you can approach this, and this approach is pretty comprehensive here. But I just want you to know that this meta practice is, a much bigger way to engage in prayer and in community simultaneously for those who might be interested in learning more. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, different takes? I get it, but I can't do it, thoughts. This part on loving the enemies, right? It's easier said than done, but it gives you a framework and a context to be able to, I think, look at these principles that many of us have heard throughout our lifetime, but maybe not spent time unpacking them to see how they actually are quite practical. And liberating.
You know, you bring up interesting talk about love and all its various forms, and I've always big on being of people loving me unconditionally. But one of the things I realized is that I didn't want to receive it unconditionally. I wanted them to love me in the way I wanted them to. I wanted to look a certain way, sound a certain way, feel a certain way, and that was something that I feel with in terms of receiving love unconditionally in the way that it's offered.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, the receiving part of love is as critical as the giving it. And it does come back to, and which is why it has its own name. The philia love of no, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong one. It's the one that I love to pronounce. The philautia love, the self love, right? It begins there. And I quoted Aristotle saying, all friendly feelings of others are an extension of one's feeling for themselves. And so you've got to start with the self love before you can really even receive love. And then with the agape love and understanding what that looks like, then you understand that your receipt of love gets to come in the way that it comes because you love the person, not because the way that they love you. Now, let me be clear here, right? Someone who brings bad acts to you is not exhibiting love. So we're not suggesting unconditional romantic love for someone who's bringing you evil. And that there is a way that you can hold agape love for a person and choose to never be in their presence because it's not safe.
Or it's not loving.
Or it's not, yeah, or they're not connected to agape love right now. It's present within them, but they're not connected to it, right? Yeah. And they're not choosing that. And so it is not subjecting yourself unintentionally to that. In relationship.
Question that came across the chat: what role do you think empathy plays in loving others unconditionally? I believe that helps.
Yeah, empathy is essential to it. It is in the definition of agape love. It is what agape love is. It's not just empathy but infinite empathy. That boundless compassion. That is what agape love is. Unconditional. So this is why we distinguish the types of love, because too often in a Western and an American society, we just say love and we don't distinguish what type of love we're talking about and give it any context, right? So I'm talking about agape love, which is distinguished from eros love, romantic love. Now, in the definition that I shared, we didn't say that romantic love was unconditional. We didn't say that.
It should be.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. Today, I'm talking about spiritual love, the love that God has called for, the love that Jesus talked about, the love that these other ancient wisdom people are talking about agape love, which is not.
They all connect, right? Agape, philia, they all connect.
Well, so
if God is love, God is love.
Well, so this is where we may agree to disagree. That I think what has been communicated is that the conflation that all these loves are the same is where we get the breakdown, which is where people are scared to say, I love you to one another, because someone may confuse it with romantic love. Or they may
I'm not saying they're the same, but I'm saying they're all linked by God. God is present in all of those. God is love. God is present in agape love. God is present in eros love. God is present in paleo love. God is present in all of them.
That's an interpretation. No, it is, and I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, don't go ahead.
That's an interpretation, right? Again, the Greek had different words for it. So the Greek would say that God is agape, not God is eros. But because we have conflated all of the different words into one thing, then we say God is love and it means all of those things. And I say that's a question. That's something to think about. Does it mean that? Does it?
Well, a couple different questions. So Latanya puts that acceptance is also a part of loving others unconditionally. And that's what acceptance is, that living with a sense of ease, and there's a peace that comes along with acceptance. I agree with that. Wolfie agrees with you, that romantic love is cannot always be unconditional.
Yeah, that's certainly something we have been taught, right? And I bring this up to be thoughtful about different names for different things, for different spaces, for different engagements and interactions, because of what boundaries and what kind of oppression and what kind of limitations take place when we say that romantic love has to be unconditional. That might keep somebody in a relationship that's filled with evil, because unconditional means that, you might stay in a space, you may interpret that to say that you should stay in a space that's not healthy, that's harmful. And so I think that, in questioning what is the meaning of the love that we're talking about in this circumstance is worthy of consideration.
Well,
Eros love is definitely conditional.
Italian says she thinks that any love that is conditional isn't love. I agree with you on that, Tom.
That's what I say. Mine is an interpretation. Latanya and Mark interpret it as all love is unconditional. Is familial love unconditional? Is friendship love unconditional?
Yeah, well, that's what Mr. Man says.
Right. So friendship love is love between friends. Is that unconditional? Y'all ain't dropped no friends over the years over some conditions?
That's right. Well, I wasn't working with the meta practice.
Ain't no family members you done kicked to the curb because they done went the wrong way?
Yes, Big Wolf, too. We confuse love sometimes with other emotions.
So, yeah.
Nay, that's how abusers keep their victims around. Well, I mean, we don't. So, the what's the one where you love yourself? Philosophy, what is it?
Yes, philosophy.
Well, philosophy of love doesn't say. I mean, I think that's a love of yourself. So you have an unconditional love of yourself, then that's also judgment. That would mean free of judgment, right? And so I think you're able to have a love and not be in a connected relationship with that person. It doesn't have to be in their presence or physical presence. You can still have a love for that person.
Yeah, I think that this is a good point. And so that is the intention of these conversations, to have us go deeper, to think deeper, to begin to question and unpack, and not just, accept that we believe something just because it was handed to us and this is what, and that includes anything that is shared, from the quote unquote dais on this program, right? And so I think that these are all good points, and that each of you should, take some time to sit with this and make determinations about what it means to you, and what is your philosophy of love. And you may arrive at, no, you don't think that there's 7 different names for love that operates in 7 different ways, that there's only one love, and that's it, and all that matters. And I'm certainly not here to say right or wrong. This is why I share.
Well, no, you sound a bit strong with your opinion there.
No, I'm clear on what I believe. No, I'm clear on what I believe and why I believe it. But I don't expect that to be your belief. And I not only do I not expect it, I don't demand it, and I just have agape love for it. No judgment on it.
Do you have unconditional love for me?
Yes, yes. Condition on you showing up right.
See, that's condition. That's not unconditional.
Unconditionally, as long as you meet the condition of showing up right. How does that work?
See, I've stopped loving myself over conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you again, questions on the self-love, right? So according to the brief definition, and again, lots of more research and exploration and time and meditation should be given to it. But if I shared a definition of self-love around caring for oneself, right? And is love oneself. So if I'm one of those bad actors out there being evil in the world, right? Just doing evil. Do I love that part of myself? Or is my love on the agape level, even for myself, of I see myself and my God self, and that God self of me, that's in me unconditionally. As an agape love, even directed at myself, at that level, I love me in everything I do. The evil and the good, right? The sun shines on me on my evil days and my good days. The rain falls on me on my evil days and good days. But when I'm showing up as evil and doing evil acts, do I love that about myself?
Well, so I don't know. I think DC Joy forgot the in front of the conditional in her comment. You forgot the in your comment, Cheryl? Supposed to have unconditional love for your spouses. Unconditional.
I mean, it feels good to think somebody would love you that way, but then I think even when you unpack it and I talk about the self-love, yeah, do I expect somebody to, continue to have arrows for me, romantic love or friend love for me or familiar love for me or any of that? And I just show up as a jerk and evil? Is it fair for me to have expectation that they should still love me on those same levels? Not now, the agape level is different, but should they still love me on the, eros level? And I'm just acting a whole, fool. I get to expect that of other people.
Well, I mean, acting a whole fool is different than what we're talking. We're not talking about acting a whole fool.
Don't click her home. She's like, no.
Yeah, Cheryl's clear. I believe in conditional love. So I think there's a scripture in the Bible talking about love being unconditional. I had to find it.
It is, but it's talking about agape love. Yes, it is. It is talking. So anyways, people, so it looks like we got giving everybody a lot to think about, what it means for you, not just socially contemporary, what it means to you based on what you've been taught and the way it's been taught, but it's some tools. Just that's all we're providing here, some tools for a conversation, for some deeper thought, for some consideration, to go back to the ancient wisdom teachings that you look to for your authority.
You're so strong-minded. What did Big Wolfie say? She worked as an advocate in a shelter for domestic violence. Yeah, I believe your beliefs were challenged and other emotions. Yeah, and and so like I said, you could love yourself and love another person and not be in their physical presence, not be in relationship with them. You could love them enough to know that we're not to be together. But I still think that unconditional love is what love is. It transcends all of those 7 types of love. according to the Greeks.
And Martin Luther King.
And Aisma, that's what Aisma is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, people, I think with all agape love for you, and also familial love for you, and friendship love for you, and definitely meta love for you. Let's move into a closing prayer to send you into your day and carry you hopefully through these next 2 weeks.
Father, we thank you for this word, this conversation, this discussion on love and the transcending power of love. Love having the ability to change hearts and minds and spirits and situations, to overcome conditions, to build create new possibilities, to heal, to be peaceful. We say transcending means to change, right? To overwhelm the current situation in such a way that it changes it. And so we thank you for the power of that love being present and reflected in each of our lives as we go forward and interact with other beings. And we bring that agape love to those interactions, Lord, and even in our romantic relationships. Lord, may you give us clarity on love and the conditions, if they are, around that love, and the willingness to to be loved and to receive love unconditionally as well. Lord, in your name we pray, and we thank you for it. Amen.
Amen. And so it is. We have one other comment here. I just want to make sure it got in, from Big Wolf too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think most of us, we live long enough. Most of us have had that experience.
Yeah, friendships are interesting. What was the word for the friendship love? Okay, I'm going back to your list.
I know. This is philia.
Pragma.
No, pragma is the enduring love. Philia, Philia. This is friendship and shared goodwill. I'll just put the little abbreviations in the chat as the final thing for each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that people are in a position to copy and paste that they can.
Yeah, but to me, that's kind of like the love I might have towards a coworker, philia, right? A friendly love, versus the pragma, relationship I've been in with people over a long period of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. And someone who knows Greek better than I do, feel free to, reach out to me and let me know how I have totally messed up the pronunciation of these words.
So love sounds like lust.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm. See, all of these seem to have some unconditional nature to them.
There we go. So there you go, folks. Wherever you're tuning in, you should have it in your chat. So you can always come back to it in the chat on Twitch, on Facebook, or YouTube. And so keep in mind, all of our broadcasts are always on YouTube. So you can come back to them. You can shoot them to your TV screen. Please share them with others. So if you got some folks in your life and you feel like they don't understand what love is.
I said it's unconditional. Cheryl DC Joyce. He'll say no more. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to let you have some food. Where's the sign again? Be happy, have a sense of ease, be free from suffering. See, you're suffering. That's with the suffering that you don't want to accept the unconditional love, right?
Well, we got Latanya and Mark. They are clear. You can tell them if you want to know and understand unconditional love. You see Mark, you see Latanya. If you want to know that love operates in different ways, and we have different words for different things, you can reach out to Cheryl or myself or Big Wolf too. And
no, Big Wolf is on my side.
Oh. But we all meet in the place of meta. We all meet in the place of meta.
Well, very good conversation, very good discussion there. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And, keep in mind, in all seriousness, our own feelings of agape and our own centering of Niyah Center and Sacred Space Sunday in metta, in agape, in ahimsa, in sending you blessings always of oneness, love, and joy. And we will see you back here. I don't know if we ran it, but let's just put it in here for the visual folks. There we go. 5:15. 5:15. I can't believe it. The middle of May already. All right. We love you.
Love you.